What is going on, everybody? Top of the morning to you, or top of the evening to you, or top of the midnight to you, whenever you're watching this. Shalomi to my homies. It is very, very good to get back with you guys. It has been a long time since I've been able to sit down and read with you guys and to sit here and discuss this. And we are obviously, the family, are going through some crazy stuff right now because this is out of the norm for us. Because normally you would catch us doing stuff as a family, you would catch us doing stuff, reading as individuals, and right now it is kind of limited. But I think I'm getting back on track, which is good because this is where we should be, hanging, reading scriptures, discussing the word of our Creator, and discussing the path that all of us want to go or should be going. And the path that we should be going isn't necessarily the path that everybody goes. In fact, you will end up with all these different R words, which I call the religion, which is as bad as any other bad word that is out there. Because when we are dealing with these so-called religions, we're dealing with things that are satanic. They're outside of what the scripture says. Now, a lot of you will be crossing your eyes when I say that a religion is satanic, but hear me out. Let's talk about this first. Now, if we have the creator of the universe, his name is Yahuwah, and he says, I want you to keep my ways, my set of instructions, the ways forward. And then we get into these bad word, R word religions. And this religion has us starting, let's say, worshiping on a first day instead of the seventh day. So when our Creator tells us, I want you to keep the seventh day Sabbath, and we have switched that to a sun day, the day of the sun, that's satanic, right? That is in the hands and the arms and the ways of Ha-Satan, the devil. Because the devil would absolutely want us to be out on a seventh day Shabbat, spending money, making other people work, and destroying the opportunity that we have for rest for our own system. You see, the instructions of our Creator are not something that is hard to take. It is not something that is a pain. It is not something that is a chore. It is something that is vibrant. It is something that is full of life. And it is something that all of us can do today, but it's only for those who want to guard their souls. It's only for those who want to see this kingdom. It is only for those that are tired of this, the world that we are into, the ways of this world, and the demonic, satanic way this dark world is going right now. We're living in this world that does not care about really rules or regulations of our Creator at all. We have these man-made rules, and everybody keeps those to some extent. But when we come to the actual right instructions, things like don't eat the fat, don't eat the blood, don't look at your daughters or your kids naked in the form that everybody is doing this pedophilia and this evil stuff these days. These are all things that we've been told not to do. But the religion, the R word, that'll say, you know what? These laws are on the cross. They've been nailed to the cross. Not only was our Messiah hung on the tree, but then they took the absolutely wonderful words of the Creator of the universe and they made them null and void. And it doesn't matter what Christian you talk to, they will all say the exact same thing because they've been programmed. And that is what the R word is all about. It's all about programming people contrary to what Scripture says. And so as the covenant people, and the covenant people are the people that are obeying the laws, statutes, and commandments. So as the covenant people that we should be, we need to understand that we have been indoctrinated with lies, deception, everything. From the very beginning of where we are at right now, they've lied to us about history. They have lied to us about what it says in scriptures. And the problem is the majority of the world is too lazy to ever read their scriptures. So instead of being astute, instead of being Bereans, instead of looking at the laws of our Creator, reading scriptures, the first 5 books of scriptures, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, that's something that is fairy tale fables for children, something that is for, up to 10 and under. You have Noah's Ark, you have just these great stories, but for the rest of it, it really doesn't matter. But we've never ever had a time in this world where our Creator walked next to us as a people, as a individual that is leading us. And so in the first 5 books of scriptures, we have a glimpse into the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator, because he tells us great things. He tells us how to behave. He tells us how to act. He tells us how to respect him. He tells us how to worship him. He tells us how we should take care of our neighbors. He tells us how we should take care of our family. In it is a complete guidepost for life. And the worst thing that we could ever do in our life is to reject the first 5 books of scriptures. But yet 99, maybe 100% of all the R word does that. And so as we have this bad word, the R word, this is what we're called to get out of. And you will have people that will argue Hebrews 8. In fact, the Christians are programmed to actually argue 2 or 3 verses inside of Hebrews 8. And they will tell you, based upon Hebrews 8, that the old law is no good. And the reason that we don't have to do the old law is because there's a new way forward. But they forget to actually read the entire chapter in context, where it specifies who this letter is to. And it's talking about the house of Judah, Yahudah, and the house of Israel, Yisrael. It's not addressing the house of religion, right? It's not addressing the house of Catholics. It's not addressing the house of Christian. It's addressing 2 different tribes. Now, how does one enter into any one of these 2 tribes that we're talking about into this? And these 2 tribes are obviously the entire 12, but we are back to Israel and Judah. And so Hebrews 8 is a contract, is a renewal of the contract that comes out of Jeremiah 30 and 31. And it's a renewal. And as you read through this chapter, it tells us about a time definitely in the future where nobody needs to know about the Torah, because they already know the Torah. They have already written the Torah on their heart, mind, and soul, and it is a light unto their life and a guidepost to their world. So we don't have these days right now, and we also don't have any kind of understanding from this chapter that anybody outside of the only 2 tribes that are listed are in this new covenant. Now, this new covenant is like an apartment contract. Whenever you get a new apartment, you will go and it will give you the address, and it will give you the duties of the owner of the house. Things such as they will or will not cover garbage. They will or will not cover sewer. They will cover this. They will cover that. You bust a hole in the wall, you cover that. Something breaks under the sink, maybe they will cover that, right? That's all in the contract. That's all in the covenant. And when you sign your lease agreement, as long as you abide by the covenant, the agreement, then you can stay in the apartment. But if you go and you start tearing the walls down on the inside, and you become a menace and start lighting fireworks inside the house, and you start going crazy, then the covenant is going to be broken, because there's probably things about noise, and there's probably things about messing with the neighbors. There's probably all sorts of different things in this covenant that you get as somebody who's renting the house. This exact same kind of structure of a covenant is what we have. Our Creator says, if you want to be a child of mine, if you want to be qualified for the kingdom to come, then simply obey the laws, statutes, and commandments that are presented in the first 5 books of scriptures. That's it. And when you look at what these commandments are, they're very, very easy. They're very logical. They make a lot of sense. And in fact, when you look at them, if you look at doing opposite of them, it's very foolish, because you could very much get in danger. You could endanger your body. You could endanger yourself. We have books like Leviticus. And inside Leviticus, we have Leviticus 11, which is our dietary guide to life. It is the things that are considered food and things that are not considered food. And so we have this R word, this bad word religion that has said all food has been made clean. And you have 100% of all the people out there that are sucking down their swine and shrimp and lobster and shellfish and clams and all of these unclean foods, the janitors of nature, the things that will go by and eat a carcass or eat a corpse or eat something that is phenomenally disgusting that we would absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not want to put into our bodies. But because all food has been made clean according to the R word, then here we are right now. And so when we want to start saying bad words, we can just say religion. Religion. So that's the greatest, probably bad word you could come up with in this day and age. And so we want to get away from this bad word. We want to get to the word. And the only way we're ever going to get to the word is if we open our eyes and stop being lazy and we open the scriptures and we read for ourselves. Don't take it from me. I'm just some dude on YouTube. I'm just some guy out there that's pleading and begging and hoping that you guys will read your scriptures and not listen to a guy just like me. If I am able to take any one of you guys and get you into the line of reading your own scriptures and falling in love with the scriptures, then you won't ever need somebody like me, because the scriptures are very, very clear. There's no mystery to them. It's not a hard thing to understand, but we do have to read them to comprehend and to understand. And so, guys, right before your eyes, you're looking at the greatest English translation of scriptures you will ever find. This is a limited edition print that is out there. We hope it's not limited edition, but it will definitely be limited edition, because the next version of this will not be 3,153 pages. It will not be 3 inches thick. It will not have all of the Apocrypha in there. The next version of this will be small, and we'll break it down again to where it is a smaller, it'll be a portable version. And so you'll actually have to pick up 2 books to actually get the Apocrypha in there. And it is something that we will be able to ship, 1 or 2. But this is limited. And so, guys, this is a 3 bookmarked version. There's notes, a place for notes in the back. It has had more love. It has had more time dedicated to it. It is amazing. This is a very, very amazing book. It has the name of our Creator. It also has the name of His Son. And the power of this book is that we are able to get a scriptures into a brother or sister in chains in the United States prison system by every single order. And so this has complete value, because Yah Scriptures is not a company. We are simply a family that has a business account where 100% of all of these proceeds go back into our brothers and sisters in chains. And so the value is all over, and it's tremendous. And those who have bought some scriptures, they keep coming back for more. People open these big blue books up and they fall in love with the scriptures. And this is a 14.5 font, which means, guys, we can sit here and read this thing for a long time without our eyes getting blurry, without our eyes hurting, various things. Now, this is not a portable version. This literally could stop a .22 gun, no doubt about it. I think it could probably handle a little bigger caliber as well without ever making it through this book. This is a study scripture. This is something for your families. This is something for all time. This is something when the internet is completely gone, that we have not been lied to. And this has been a preserved version of scriptures that has not been corrupted like the King. The King is a completely corrupted version. The Sefer is incredibly disgusting when it comes down to what they have done, where they changed the deity of our Creator and His Son. And then Stephen Pidgeon calls it a overzealous translator, and he won't undo it, and then he put it all in his Millennium Edition. So every one of these books that are out there with Sefer are completely corrupted. It is a corrupted version. It's the same with the Hallelujah Scriptures. The Hallelujah Scriptures stole their version. They did not do any of the fixes on it, and so there's thousands of errors in the Hallelujah Scriptures, as well as the ISR. This is why I will say, without a shadow of doubt, this is the greatest English translation that we will ever have of our time right now that we have. And until somebody else puts something else out there, I will stand on that, because I don't think anybody can argue that this isn't a wonderful, amazing translation. Now, we're heading into the very last book of Yah Scriptures. And somebody asked me while we were on Shabbat, somebody who's been reading the book of Khalidi with us, what's the best of the Apocrypha? Now, when you are asking what's the best of the Apocrypha, again, like I said during the live stream, is that I am very, very biased, because we as a family put all of these books together because we believe every single one of these books are a foundational basis for what we need to be reading. And a lot of people have some problems with Jasher. Some people have problems with Jubilees. Some people have problems with all sorts of stuff. But the standard theme of all of these Apocrypha books, which are in Yah Scriptures, is the same. If you will obey the voice of our Creator and his instructions, he will be our leader. And that, guys, is fantastic news. We need a leader. We need a guidepost. We need instructions, and we have it. Now, this is the last book in the book of Yah Scriptures. And right now we're reading what our Messiah is telling us as he's walking around. And for those who don't know, this would be somewhere like in Matthew, Mark, Luke. It'd probably be Khalidi, and then throw in John if you're looking for an exact order. And all of Yah's Scriptures, all of our books are in order as well, which is a little bit different than all of the other Scriptures, because they have them in a weird order. They don't make sense. And so these are the proper orders. So let us begin. And again, much love to you guys out there. Thank you so much for everybody who hangs out and listens to this old timer sitting here rambling. And as you can hear my voice, I still have a little more baritone than I used to have, because I am still dealing with a cold. My wife, Miss Nicole, she is completely ravaged by this thing. And she doesn't normally get sick, so she's taking a beating through this one. So prayers to her, if you guys would. And let's begin. A man in the crowd said to Yahushua, "We have heard of your teachings, and that you herald the rule of Elohim. Tell us about this." And those who don't know, if you don't know, this is what we're looking forward to, is we are looking for this kingdom to come. We are looking for our Messiah. I'm looking for somebody other than Donald Trump and Biden and all of these satanic, demonic people that are smoking my old country, my old hometown. And even though we moved out of the U.S. Over a decade ago, I still have all of my friends and family and brothers and sisters. You guys, a lot of you guys are stuck in what is becoming even it used to become obvious that it was a cesspool, but now it's everybody knows that the U.S. has been slated for destruction. And then you have these satanic terms, like mega is actually a satanic word. That is actually a level of a witchcraft. So you have all these guys out there, their mega hats on, and the joke is really on the American people. And the joke has always been on the American people, and is the American people that suffer under the hands of these satanic regimes. And you have a president who is convicted of rape over and over and over, and all of these other things, but yet for the majority of Americans, they decided to vote him in. And so when you vote, and I will always say that free men are not people who vote, you shouldn't be voting for anything. You should be voting for the kingdom to come. And how do you vote for the kingdom to come? You start reading scriptures. You start celebrating the rule of Elohim. This is what we can't wait for, guys. I cannot wait for the pornography to be gone. I cannot wait for the darkness. I cannot wait for the drug abuse and all of the madness and the sorcery and the wizardry and all of this stuff that is plaguing these lands day after day. The pedophilia, right? It goes on and on and on. And yes, we had this stuff when I was a kid, but it has been turned up, and we have been given devices, and these little kids that we have all have these devices, and now they're watching the softcore porn of TikTok and all of this evil madness that is out there. So the rule of Elohim is what we want to herald, guys. This is what we're excited for. This world does not excite us. Hollywood does not excite us. Movies don't excite us. TV doesn't excite us. None of this stuff is what the people of our Creator should ever be watching, right? Once you take this stuff through your eyes, it's the windows to your soul. Yahushua said, 14, there is the reign of the Ruach and the reign of the flesh. Okay, so there's two different reigns we're talking about. Yahuwah rules the first himself, which is the reign of the Ruach. But the second, he rules through his viceroy, man. But man tries to set himself up as an independent ruler, making his own laws and setting aside those of his sovereign. When the viceroy ceases to rebel and governs in accord with the decrees of the sovereign, that will be the rule of Elohim. And that's what I've said this a lot of times, that the rule of Elohim, and I know there's a couple of you guys that will argue against this, but to get to where the rule of Elohim is, it needs the soldiers. And what we just read right here is that man is supposed to be ruling this realm, but we're supposed to be ruling it under the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. But instead, Messiah says, we make ourselves up as independent rulers, which we do, right? Who do we vote in, right? Some satanic guy, right? Some filthy actor that's on TV. That's who we rule. That's who we vote for. And then we have so many different laws. Those outside of the United States don't realize how many laws the United States has. And there's hundreds of thousands of federal laws. And there was a book written, and a guy was going through these, and even the greatest of us all break several of these rules in the course of a day, not even knowing it. Things that we do, there's federal rules, there's state rules, there's all these different laws, and they never stop, right? You have rooms of people sitting in here just with their little think caps on, trying to make up new rules, trying to make up the next thing. And we're missing the rule of Elohim. The rule of Elohim is his Torah. That's the laws, statutes, and commandments that we will fall under. But nobody says this out there, right? Not a single person ever does. And so the final piece on this, when the viceroy ceases to rebel and governs in accord with the decrees of the sovereign, that will be the rule of Elohim. And again, that's when man it forgets about the world, and we align our lives, our heart, our mind, our soul, our vision. We're looking to the kingdom to come. That's the only hope we have. This world is dust. 15. The man said, this teaching is beyond our understanding. We have the Torah when it comes from the mouthpieces of Elohim. Yahushua said, of course you have the Torah, but it is either disobeyed, ignored, or circumvented. Therefore, it is nullified and rendered ineffective. Now, somebody had come in, and I remember a question. Somebody said, this book absolutely cannot be part of Scriptures because right there it says that the Torah would be rendered ineffective. But we have to understand what this verse is talking about. First of all, Messiah says, of course you have the Torah. Like, everybody should have the Torah. That's just the way it should be. But we either disobey it, right? Those of us who know the Torah fall out of it, or we ignore it. 100,000 kabillion different religions, they 100% ignore the Torah, or you circumvent it, right? All food has been made clean. What do you mean all food has been made clean? The pig is not even classified as food. Leviticus 11 says that's not food. And so all corpses, if you're saying that all the dead and all things have been made clean, that's insane. But that's how things are being circumvented, right? So we have a seventh day Sabbath, but they have told us, oh, the Messiah rose on the first day. That's the new day to worship. There's not a single context of any scriptures, of any word that ever says you should be worshiping on a Sunday. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't worship on a Sunday and you should worship on every single day. But as far as the day that you set apart, that our Creator has set apart for all of us, is the seventh day Shabbat, right? It's 2 days ago. That's the day that we're told to rest. That's the day we're told not to pay. That's the day we're not supposed to cling. We're not supposed to cook. We're not supposed to do all these kind of things, is what we are told not to do. It's a rest day. And so you're supposed to prep what you're supposed to prep the day before. You're supposed to have it as a day off. But yet here we are. So when the last verse on this says, therefore it is nullified and rendered ineffective, it absolutely is. If you disobey it, if you ignore it and you circumvent it, then you have taken the Torah and you've made it ineffective. How is it ever going to govern your life if you're not allowing it to govern you? How is it ever going to change your life if you don't care about it? So those who disobey it, they don't see it. Those who ignore it have no idea what's up. And those who circumvent it obviously don't care about the rule set. And the rule set is a life-saving rule set. This is stuff that will save your life or you will die. Either way, right? You'll eat unclean food or something will happen. You'll get involved in something that you shouldn't because you've gotten away from the Torah. Messiah continues on. I have come to gather the lost sheep, bringing them back into the fold, which is the will of Yahuwah. I have come to cleanse the earth with purifying fire. But though I have struck the sparks, the tinder is not yet ignited. I travel a stony road, but the greatest ordeal lies ahead. Huge words from Messiah, right? Messiah walked a very hard life. He walked an outcast life. He was hated by so many. He was challenged by so many, but yet he was loved by so many, right? The broken and those who are with abilities to see and to hear, those are the ones who Messiah came for. And the lost sheep. Who are the lost sheep? Well, there's only one place in scriptures that tells us what the sheep are. It's the people of Yisrael. And right now there are 10 tribes that have been dispersed all across these plains. And you could very well be one of these lost tribes. You could be part of this. Now, how do we know? Well, we know because you open your eyes and you fall in love with the Torah. The Torah becomes your everything in life. It becomes our way forward. And that qualifies us as people of the kingdom. It qualifies us as Yah's people. It qualifies us as the lost sheep. Right? We were sleeping and now we have been awakened. We were living in sin and yet our Creator has somehow planted the seed and somehow watered and nurtured it and somehow snapped us out of this R word, out of this horrible, horrible religion that lies to us and has us paying their bills while they live in complete iniquity. Messiah says, 18, you may think in your hearts that I come to bring shalom to the earth and concord among men. And this is true, for such will be under the rule of Elohim. However, before this comes about, those who oppose it must be defeated. Therefore, I come to arm those who are loyal to the cause, to put a sword into the hands of men and stinging words on the tongues of women. Henceforth, families will be divided against themselves, and brother will be separated from brother, and father set against son. Now, this is, wow, I've already rambled this up. Is this critical? 28 minutes. Wow, I've done it. All right, guys, I'm so sorry. These are important words. These are incredible things that we're reading, which is why I get all fired up and I love reading through this stuff. We've heard this before. We've heard this before that families will be divided. And for anyone who is in Torah, I think that's obvious, right? We lost all of our family in the States, right? We became the freaks. We became those crazy people. Well, those crazy people that want to keep the laws of God. That's insane, right? That's who we became, those crazy people. And our families, all of a sudden, they're like, that's no good. And then we stopped keeping Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and holidays. And it took a little bit. The families stopped finally calling. They got it. We're freaks. We are freaks of the kingdom. And that's what we want to be. We want to be set apart. The people of our Creator are completely set apart. We are not supposed to look like the world, taste like the world, or look like the world. So when we stop hanging out with those that are watching Hollywood and watching television programming and doing evil things, then that's how we start looking way different. And the boss clan of 2024 does not look like the boss clan of 2014. And it definitely does not look like the boss clan of 2004. And as we go back out of it, we were just some completely raging Gentiles that had no idea. We were good Christians. We went to church. We did all this, but we had never read our Bibles, and we were dead. And somehow our Creator has pulled us out. Somehow He opened our eyes. Somehow He sent the right people along the way to give us that shocking information that there's an R word. And we've fallen into this R word. We are in this bad word now, and this is part of our world, and we got to get out of it. So families are going to be destroyed. If you have in-laws and outlaws and all of those guys around you, they will separate from you when you start keeping Torah. I can't even count all the people that are spouses out there that have lost spouses. One spouse finds Torah and the other spouse doesn't want it. It's an unequal yoke, and it becomes there's a head-on. It's a collision course because it's hard, especially where the leader of the house is not Torah based. And we have a lot of women out there that are trying to bring their men into Torah. And I will mention and say and urge all of you women out there to not stop. To do this with love, to do this with compassion, and to love your man. And that is how you will turn him. That is how you will turn him into the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator, more than likely. And sometimes it won't happen, right? Sometimes we end up equally unyoked, and we wake up in this place, and it's hard. Now, let's talk about the very first part of this actual verse. Messiah, where it talks about that the rule of Elohim is there's shalom. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking for a place of peace. I'm looking for a place where I can look at all of you guys as my family in a different place and know that, you know what, we might have differences. We might not see exactly how to keep Shabbat. We might not see exactly how to keep the appointed times. We might all be on different calendars. But you know what? All of our hearts are trying to seek the Creator of the universe, and all of these answers are going to be answered for us with our Messiah. That's why we need our Messiah. We need the Son of the Most High, who has walked with the Most High, who walked with the Most High before the Torah was ever written. You see, according to the Apocrypha, the Torah was written long before creation. And so if you think that all of these don't eat unclean foods, don't eat the blood, don't eat the fat, don't look at your kids naked, this was all out there prior to our creation, before light was separated from darkness, before the sun came, before the moon came. There was already a rule of Elohim. There was already Sabbath day keeping that was happening in the Shamayim, in the heavens, in all of this. It was already happening. And so this is nothing new. Man was new for all of this, and we were given away, but most of us have rejected it. And so the rule of Elohim needs to be part of our world. We need to be encouraging everybody who will listen that there's a different way, that there's a way that contains meat and potatoes instead of this soggy, nasty soup that somebody has left called religion. Inside of religion, it is a soul-attacking, soul-killing system that will lead you and your soul and your family's souls into a very, very bad place. And I cannot find a spot in scriptures anywhere that it says, hey, you know what? Hell is only for 100 years. Hell is for 50 years. You'll get out of it. You'll do 25 years and you get a shot out. The warden comes around. Parole board comes, pops you out of this place. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. We have a way right now that if we are willing to obey our Creator, He will walk with us. And I will tell you, the walk is a spiritual walk that leads all sorts of spiritual entities around you. Like, you will have protection like you have never had protection before when you are walking with the Most High. He will walk with you. He will talk with you. He will defend you. He will keep things that you have no idea that are going to be happening. It doesn't happen. And there are so many of these things that I can tell you from just hanging out in these jungles and seeing the hand of our Creator and the power, the spiritual power of things that you cannot explain. That you cannot explain the stuff that I have seen that the Creator of the universe has done for us. And He will do it for you. He will back you. You can back Him. But it's a loyalty thing, right? It is a loyalty thing. And if we are not interested in scriptures, if we're not interested in Torah, why would our Creator ever be interested in us? Furthermore, our Messiah says in Matthew 7 that if you are not interested in Torah, that you will be told to depart. Right here. 23. And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. There's no other place in scriptures that the law is defined, the scriptures are defined, except in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So if we want to get past this particular part in scriptures and qualify ourselves as the covenanted people, then we walk in the laws of our Creator. And they are beautiful. And they are good. So guys, with that, thank you very much to anyone that actually makes it to the end of these. I got nothing but love for all of you guys. And I hope you guys have a great week. And until we can sit down and meet again, shalom, shalom to all my homies. I'm out.